You went first. I'll never forget the day you rang me up and I was like, you going where?
Yeah.
I mean, it came out of the blue, didn't it?
It was. Sometimes you have to be in the right place at the right time. We obviously know the owner of Valencia. Me and Gary went out there the season before just for 2 days, look at the structures of the club, look at the training. I got to know the manager. He seemed to like me and we got on well together. He offered me the job. I went out there, changed a life, first time ever away from home. And I've got to say, it was the best experience that I've ever witnessed in all my life or ever had the opportunity to do. And November, the manager that brought me out there then got the sack. I could have been home. I could have been sacked too. Normally the assistants go with the manager that employs you. I was lucky. I was lucky that Gary came out because it actually kept me in Valencia for another 6 to 8 months because I think I'd have been gone in November if they hadn't have brought Gary out.
What was that like working together as a coaching team? I know it came out of the blue, the managerial opposition, but to have Philip with you.
I enjoyed that part, obviously, in terms of seeing, obviously, Phil, kids and family more. I miss Valencia as a place. People say, it must have been a really bad experience. The football results didn't go as well as I would have thought, and I feel sad about that because I wanted to do really well for the club, for the owners, obviously, because they put so much faith in us, and that was the sad thing for me. And I loved the place. I absolutely loved the experience, and to be fair, it was tough. It was tough in certain ways. Not being able to speak the language, not be able to communicate with people, which is what we do. We communicate with people. You can speak to them. That was difficult. Having to go through somebody else all the time. I made some mistakes. I don't blame anybody else for what happened in Valencia other than myself. I made mistakes. Things that I should have done differently, things that I should have done better, things that I, as probably, my first job in coaching, maybe I wouldn't make again next time, but I'm still, look at those mistakes that I made and think, right, you've got to make sure you don't make mistakes like that in the future when you're in different businesses or different things, because there were certain things I should have done better. I made the mistakes in Valencia. I don't blame players. It's easy to blame players all the time. I mean, of course, players are responsible and players need to go and play well. And there were many times where we had one-on-one chances where we could have won games, and you think, if that had gone in, but then they need to go in, and it's your responsibility.
It wasn't a disaster, though. It wasn't a disaster, the experience that we went through. I mean, we had some great moments when, beat Bilbao in the cup, we beat Rapid Vienna 7-1 at home. We produced some brilliant performances. In fact, if you look at the record now, Gary's higher than probably the last 5 or 6 Valencia managers that they got. So it wasn't a complete disaster in terms of the bigger picture, the learning experience. For me as a coach, I've learnt more in that 12 months I had in Valencia than I have probably in the last 40 years of my life.
It was a privilege to be there, to be honest with you. Because I think
the obvious question, Gary, is, has it put you off? Will you ever do that again? Not manage in Spain, just manage.
You've got to remember that before that, I had opportunities to go into management and didn't do. So I went, there were special circumstances that I went over to Valencia, and also an incredible club, a fantastic club, and a big club, huge club. So I think that ultimately, no, I won't go back into management or coaching. Although I said I wouldn't be a broadcaster.
You're lying to me again.
You never know. My intention at this moment is never to go back into it.
Never ever.
But my intention before I went to Valencia wasn't to go in it either. That wasn't my plan.
He should.
But it wasn't my plan.
Why should he? He's lost to the game?
Well, because what I saw in them 3, 4, 5 months that I saw in Valencia, that the communication was a problem, the language. But if in England...
Had it been an English-speaking team?
Look, I think you're talking about someone that could be a top manager. That's what I saw. From the outside, from his assistant, from helping him. You saw someone that was doing the right things every day in, day out, that changed the culture of a club in the space of 6 months. And not many people can do that.
We shall watch this space. You have said never before.
No, it won't happen.
Okay.
Is this a break?
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have a walk over to the analytical